Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Sue Ralph with Birdcage Craft Studio, and today I'd like to show you a new stamp set that I've bought from Stampin' Up, which is called Perfect Peacock. As soon as I saw it in the catalogue, I knew I just had to have this one. It's absolutely gorgeous. I did a couple of cards up. I was just playing around with the stamp, and this one that I made in white, so it's an albino peacock. I had quite a few nice comments about it, so I thought I'd put a video together just to show you how I've made it. So basically what you need is you need a piece of black cardstock and some embossing powder and the Versamark. Also use the embossing buddy, because that actually eliminates the static, which makes the white powder cling to the black, and that can prove a bit of a problem when you're trying to do something black on white. And then I use the chalk marker for doing a lot of the colouring in. And then I use one of the watercolour pencils from Stampin' Up. I don't think they actually carry those any longer. And then you want some pearls, and that's for the peacock eyes, and these are, I use the little tiny ones, and then I've got my pokey tool to help pick them up. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, what you want to do is you want to go all over your black card with your embossing buddy. And as I said, that will help to eliminate all of the static, hopefully, so that you don't get little white blobs of the embossing powder. And then you want to take your stamp and your Versamark, and then just put some Versamark over the peacock, like so. And then you stamp down. Okay, and make sure that you don't move it. Just press down so that you get the image out nicely. Okay, and then peel it off. Don't think you'll probably be able to see this very well. Just about picking it up on the camera. And then I'm just going to put white embossing powder all over. Okay, just like so. I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, just so that I can knock all the embossing powder off, and just give it a flick on the back, and then just take a look. Okay, and if you find that you have any embossing powder anywhere else, just use a little paintbrush and just take off all those little specks. Actually, that one's a little bit too big. I've got another paintbrush somewhere. Nope. Oh, here it is. So I'm just literally going to take off those little specks of white. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, and I'll put that back into the container in a minute. And then what you want to do then is you want to get your heat gun. And I usually run it for a couple of minutes just to make it nice and warm, so that it actually heats up the embossing powder quickly, and then that way your paper won't buckle so much. Let me just see if I can get this in a little bit closer, and then you can have a look. Okay. Now this I always think is quite magical, because you can actually see it changing. Whether it'll pick it up on camera today, I don't know. There we go. You can start changing. It gets more glossy looking, and it comes up whiter. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick that up on the camera today. And just slowly move all the way over, working your way up the image, making sure that it all changes colour, so you get it more of a glossy white when you're heat embossing. Make sure you do the flowers. And then if it has buckled a little, just go on the back side of the card, and you'll find that will help just to straighten the card back up again. Okay, let's pull that back out. And then what you want to do then is just give it just a moment just to cool off. And then what I tend to do is I go in with a bigger brush and just go all over it, just to take that embossing powder off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to come in with the chalk marker. Whoops, sorry, out of focus, out of shot there. So that's the chalk marker by Stampin' Up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to colour in the peacock all over with a chalk marker. And what you might need to do is you might need to go over a couple of times, because possibly the first time you go over it's not going to be dark enough. So just follow the lines. Once chalk marker starts to flow, you can actually see it comes out slightly darker, well, white, more white instead of opaque. So you can take your time, but because I'm doing this video, I'm going to do this fairly quickly, just to get most of the colour down, because I'm sure you don't want to sit watching me colour the peacock. So just going all the way over. And as I said, when you're doing this yourself, you can take more time. Okay, just like so. And just colour that all in. All the way around. I think peacocks, the colours that they have are absolutely gorgeous. I love all of those blues and greens, sort of almost kingfisher colours, because they're slightly shiny as well. Absolutely gorgeous. But with this stamp you can do any sort of colour you like, really. You know, you can change it all up a little bit. One colour combination I'm going to try a bit later on is to emboss in gold and then colour it in several different shades of pink, because I think that might be quite striking as well. Okay, don't forget just to do around the eye, and then I'm just going to do on the plume on top of the head. There you go. As I said, you can spend a lot more time actually doing this. And then I'm going to come in with my yellow watermark pencil, and then I'm just going to pick out the colour of the eyes. Just go around in a circle. You don't want too much, otherwise it's going to be too yellow. But just sort of pick out those eyes on the peacock's plumage. Just go around them. And then what I did on my first card that I showed you, I actually went back over with my chalk marker just to take a little bit of that yellow down. But as I said, for this video I'm just going to show you the basics of it, and then when you have a go yourself you can sort of play around with the colour combination, and if you find that it's too yellow then obviously just go back in with a chalk marker. So I've done all the eyes. Yep, just missed one there. And then all these little feathers here, I'm just going to pick these out a little bit. And I'm just going to go in again with the white there, so the yellow over the white. And this way it's just not all totally white then, because I think you lose some of the details in the feathers. Okay, just go all over. Okay, don't know if you can pick that up. But then, as I said, you know, once you've done the yellow you can go back in and go back over with a little white if you want to. Okay, so I've done that. So what I'm going to do now is bring in the little pearls. These are the tiny ones from Stampin' Up. This is the smallest size. Just pick them up on the end of my pokey tool. And then I'm going to place one in each of the eyes, like so. Now I counted these and there are 40 little pearls, so it's quite a lot to do. But just keep placing them on there all the way around until you filled them all up. Then once you've done all of that, you can then just take your water pencils or any pencil crayons that you have. You could then just add extra colour in for your flowers. Just open the box and see what we've got. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a pink colour, and let's have a green for the leaves. And then again, what you're just doing is with your pencil marker, you're just literally going to go over the white of where you want to do. So at the moment I'm doing the leaves, so I'm just going over the white embossing powder with my pencil, just to colour in these leaves a little bit, just to give a little bit of colour. Okay, do the stems, and I'll just do some of the leaves up here. So you don't want to add too much colour because you want it, you know, quite subtle. And again, if you find that it's a little bit too green, you can come in with your chalk marker, and that will actually just take a little bit of the colour onto the chalk, and then you can just sort of, you're almost like diluting it a little bit with your chalk marker. Okay, so I've done that bit, then I'm going to go in over the flowers now. And just colour those in. Okay, and just do all of the other flowers, petals I should say, and just continue round until you finish. As I said, when you're doing this for yourself, you can take more time, but because I want to just get on to the next step on the video, I'm not going to take the time. And then bring in your chalk marker again, and then you can just pull some of that colour off and into the flower, so it's not quite as dark pink. Again, you'll find the colour that you like. Okay, and then just carry on, add in as much colour or as little as you want. Okay, nearly at the end of those flowers. And then again, what you could, if you wanted to, you can then colour in sort of more of the leaves. You can put a little bit of the yellow and actually do the peacock's beak, I should say. Just experiment, just play around with it. And then once you've added all of your pearls, you should then come up with the peacock like I've got here. Can you see that I've done all of the eyes of the tail plumes with little pearls, and then I've coloured in the flowers. And then what I've actually done is I've added, as you can see, a bow. Whoops, let's go back out the other way. I've added a bow to the top corner, and I actually layered up the card with the new scallop die that we have at Stampin' Up. I thought it was a little bit too plain, so what I did is that some of the inserts from the scallops I took out and I stuck down the side of the card just to sort of play around with it a little bit. Then I went on to make what I would call the traditional colour of the peacock. As you can see, it's those lovely blues and greens and turquoises. And then with the flowers, I just cut out, or stamped and then cut out some extra, and then just sort of made them into sort of 3D flowers just to give a little bit of an extra element. Once I did those two, I then decided to sort of play with another stamp set, and this is Work of Art stamp set, and this was done to bring in some colour to the peacock instead of colouring them in. First of all, I did this one in StazOn, which I didn't think the actual stamped image came out very crisply, so then I went on to change it and I did that with black embossing powder. So you can have lots of fun, you know, by sort of using different things. So what I'm going to do today, because I've had quite a lot of people ask me how I did this technique, is that I'm going to do a giveaway. And what I've actually done is I've stamped out 2 of the white embossed peacocks, and then I've stamped out 2 of black images, and one is in StazOn and one is in Memento ink. So the StazOn ink is great with normal markers like the stamping markers from Stampin' Up, but the Memento ink is one that you can use with the alcohol markers, so that you can use your alcohol pens to sort of colour in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this as a giveaway, and I'm going to put all the details on my blog at Birdcage Craft Studio.